What the This is enormous. We're not getting into this.
Just like my
Whoa, dude. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but a lot of people have a lot of really terrible, awful opinions about Daggerheart, and I'm here to set the record straight with my sister, Emma. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Emma. So, if you guys don't know, Daggerheart, Critical Role, they made a system. Well, Darrington Press made it. And I feel like there's a lot of weird, crazy opinions out there online. But as two people who have played Daggerheart before, I think we need to breach Reddit here. From a little bit of the side of, I don't know, normalcy. You're looking at pure normalcy right now.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what we
Yep,
are.
yep.
Big normies. No, but before we do that, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Factor. If you want to eat stress-free, have ready-to-eat meals that are fresh, never frozen, that are ready in just 2 minutes, you should check out Factor. I've been eating Factor for like a year and a half now, and they're so good. If you're trying to eat better and make things easy for yourself and also save money, because in comparison to ordering out all the time, Factor is definitely the better option. Factor is really great for helping you eliminate the hassle of prepping, cooking, and cleaning up, and you get delicious food. I also really like Factor because they're sustainable. They offset 100% of their delivery emissions, and they source 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices. Factor is extremely flexible. You can change up your order every week with plans from like 4 to 18 meals per week, or you can pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50fireball to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's 50fireball at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thank you, Factor. Back to the video. Emma, I know you're not like big Critical Role fan. I know you're like tangential, not even enjoyer nor fan. Just knower of existence of Critical Role. It's a big deal. And there's multiple subreddits. One of them, which has interesting opinions, is called r/fans of Critical Role. This happens a lot on Reddit, where people will go and be like, there's a main subreddit, like there's an r/Critical Role, but then people will go make the real one, the real true fans. And 99% of the time, it's just people who are disgruntled that nobody was criticizing it enough. So we got one here, which is Daggerheart is the system they thought they wanted, not the system they needed.
Who's they?
Who's they? Probably Critical Role.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
After reading the system and watching Age of Umbra, I fully believe that Daggerheart is a system that was built/sold to Critical Role with the thought of playing to their strengths or what they think are their strengths. But I feel like it doesn't work that great for them as players and as the GM. Here's what I mean by that. Battle maps. The gridless battle maps are solely there so that the cast can shout, "Matt, that's insane," when he brings out another terrain piece. A bit of dry brushing and inking Dwarven Forge pieces is not that insane. By the way, I could do that in my sleep. I could make a giant Dwarven Forge map. I could do that every single week for a group of people.
I could make something way more insane. Then do it. Then can do it.
Yeah, a little bit of dry brushing and inking on a Dwarven Forge piece is not that insane, by the way. It's not that it's insane. What do you want Matthew Mercer to do? He comes out and he's like, here's the map for the game. And he has created real life, alive miniature versions of their characters. And he says, I've been keeping them in a habitat. And you actually have to keep them alive. And then they're like, Matt, that is insane. That's actually clinically insane. You shouldn't be doing that. And then this guy would be like, yeah, I guess Critical Role is good now.
I guess they're kind of good.
The abstract distances are there, so a few centimeters are missing. It can be ignored, rule of cool, but in reality, that confuses players more than anything. Theater of the Mind would have worked much better with the system in its current form. The cool thing about Daggerheart is that you can do both. I don't understand what the problem is. Like, what's wrong with Matt wanting to make a map? I love maps. Maps are so fun. They create a cool visual. Why are you like, the only reason they make a map is so that everybody can go, Matt, that's insane.
What do they mean that confuses the players? Because it's a tiny bit off scale?
Oh, it's so confusing. Perfect.
Look at you guys in there. God, how am I supposed to know how big this actually is? That's fine if that's how your brain works and you need it that way, but you can't be like, that confuses every player. Every player ever will be so confused.
I speak for the whole audience. That sucks.
That's so cool looking.
Outlandish high fantasy character concepts, more debatable point. Not strongly regulating which ancestry can be used in which scenario/world doesn't make it more flavorful. It just makes it everything everywhere, what robs the campaign frames of a distinct flavor. On the one hand, the possibility is nice to have, but what made C1 and partly C2 so good for me was that the characters were more grounded, more within the core fantasy tropes everybody knows. Giving the cast the possibility to build nearly everything they want just makes the special less special. soul. And as much as I like Tal's design, it is pretty much especially as he is not the only exotic in the group. Ugh. Gross, dude.
That's just, it's fantasy. They can be as creative as they want and, you know, have
And make,
not a
like,
lot of limitations. And
getting to like make the character that they really want to make and the story that they really want to tell within the world that they're going to play just doesn't really make sense. I just kind of wish Matt would just pigeonhole all of them into playing exactly what he wanted. So in summary, they thought they used a system that is catering to your strengths, but in reality more of a burden and lowers at least my pleasure of viewing their content. Okay, I can see where they're coming from. Maybe they think that Critical Role does better in this more structured environment of Dungeons & Dragons because it creates like a better environment for them to tell stories because they like the framing of D&D. The thing about Daggerheart is that you can kind of decide how complicated or how difficult it really is, and that's fully up to the game master. I don't know if they're trying to criticize Matt here because he doesn't do that enough, but I don't think that's really the point. I'm on the opposite side because I think Daggerheart gives them the freedom to do more of what they want to do, allowing them to tell the story they want to make, and they don't have to be bogged down by D&D, which is forcing them to play the game a certain way. Also, the audience gets pissed off when they homebrew change it, and they're like, that's not how you play the rules.
Yeah.
So I think Daggerheart's great because they get to be free of that.
yeah.
Riddle me this, if Daggerheart is this is D&D Circle Jerk, we're getting out of here. Riddle me this, if Daggerheart is woke, then why is the first she/her level 1 pregen so... That's funny. Oh boy. I'm an experienced GM with an experienced group of players. I ran Daggerheart. Here are my thoughts. Good. Everyone liked the hope and fear mechanic itself on paper. Although it took up a lot of room, they enjoyed the cards on abilities for ease of reference. Yes.
I agree.
The combat mechanics went over well, especially with the threshold and armor system, preventing combat from getting too swingy. Weirdly disagree. I think combat is very swingy from what we've played of it. It feels like it can go one way, then another way, and then it can stalemate out, and then it can like boom, explode out of nowhere. Everyone seemed to like their heritage and their, okay, everybody liked their characters. Fear was a good mechanic. I loved the way adversaries were presented and organized. Yeah. Sorcerer reported loving playing a melee orc magic user with armor, sling, and spells. Agree. It has very open-ended character creator. Speaking of which, the positive Dagger diverged from 5e with classes like Guardian and Seraph. I wish they would have gone all the way. My biggest problem, which many of the others will be branched from, is the lack of a unifying mechanic. You have hit points, armor points, stress points, hope tokens, and even abilities with their own tokens. It felt busy according to one player, and everyone agreed. I do kind of agree with that. I guess in D&D, you're really focused around like your hit points, and if it's not your hit points, then it's also your spell slots. I guess the thing is that like all of them matter a lot. Like everybody uses stress, everybody uses hit points, all of that stuff. So you are kind of managing a lot, but I don't know. You're just counting down. I don't think like it's like super like complicated.
Yeah, I think a big thing for me when I was playing, like in the beginning, it was like, okay, here are the things I can do. Let me look at all of it and do that. And then I was like, what am I doing? That's too much. Take it back. What do I want to do?
Yes.
I want to do this. And then I look at my stuff and be like, this is exactly what I want to do, and this is how I do it. And that's it.
My players had tons of hope tokens by the end of the battle with very little to spend them on. Wow, don't agree. Not us. Well, to be fair, some players did and some players didn't.
Yes, I will say there was sometimes, I think I had a lot of hope, and I had like nothing to use it on. And I was like, well, that's just kind of how I built myself. I don't use a lot of hope, but I use a lot of stress, or I use a lot of this, or whatever.
You can pick cards that use more hope.
Yeah. And then I did think about that, and I was like, I should have looked at what I was using for each thing. But
I feel like everybody was constantly out of hope in our games. I don't know. For me, it was the opposite. I constantly had fear. I was like, I need to use my fear more. I just don't do it. I think this person had some good thoughts and opinions about it. I don't think that was too nuts. I think that's a good way to criticize it. Are people here actually playing DC 20 and Daggerheart? Or is all the YouTube content making it look bigger than it is?
So unfortunately, I can't answer that because I'm only in the YouTube world. They do say, but not much online discussion about them. Give it a little bit. Give it a little bit. Just came out, okay? A lot of people got jobs. A lot of people are busy. A lot of people are doing things.
And people are still trying to play it, is the thing,
yeah,
you know?
They got to read it. They got to understand it. They got to get a group. They got to do all this.
And that's my issue, is that so many people on Reddit right now are, like, deciding that this is how they feel.
Yeah.
I guess I am not any better. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm at least trying to like make my thoughts and opinions more just like, hey, this is going to come with time kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people are looking for direct, quick answers to what Daggerheart is and why I should like it or disagree or dislike it. And it's like, you got to play it and read it. You're not going to know right now.
Yeah.
You can't just like decide. Like you should decide that it's kind of cool and try it out.
Yeah. But that's also kind of why we do content about Daggerheart, is that so people can understand and people can learn and people can make their own decision and be like, oh, yes, I want to play this. And then people will start playing it and then things will come out and regular people will start discussing things.
Yeah, exactly. No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers for a game.
It's because the Critical Role subreddit wants to know if the post is spoilers.
Yeah. It's just funny to be like, there's no spoilers about Daggerheart in this.
It's like saying, I'm going to be real right now. No spoilers, but I don't like Daggerheart. I detest the what do you find in there aspect of Daggerheart, which is Daggerheart is a game that is played with a lot of questions. So the GM is often asks a question to the player and then they tend to respond. And the players also kind of build the world and the game as well as the GM. And what I like about this, it doesn't bring the players closer to the GM spot. Players already kind of do this. It brings the GM closer to the players, or at least a lot of play groups that I see. I know there's always going to be play groups like, no, actually we don't do that. We are that's not our group. I know a lot of people, especially my friends, who like to play like this, where we're kind of already adding in. And so it actually makes the GM closer to the players. It feels like the GM gets to be a little bit more of a player in Daggerheart, which is kind of fun. I get where the game designers are coming from. They want the world and the narrative to be also in the player's hands, but I fear it might not be the best solution. In D&D, your character and yourself are totally aligned in that you don't know what's coming or what you could find. But if players get to choose what they find, that sense of immersion breaks. And I'm afraid it would make the session feel more like a game as opposed to a world.
Okay.
Interesting take. So the thing is that I'm trying not to be mean. I'm trying to hear these in good faith. But what I hear in this is a player who just has an awesome GM who makes them feel like this.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I feel like I'm in a world. I'm like, that's cool that you have a game master or you're watching a live stream where it feels like that. But it's not actually like that. The GM, like Skylar, throw up the clip that Dieter animated of me throwing the railroad tracks down. This is what GMing feels like. There's a world, and the grand illusion of a game master is to make it feel greater than it actually is, and you're constantly building as you're going. But what Daggerheart kind of does is, and not to be like, this is going to sound a little rude, this is going to sound a little mean, this is giving, I just started playing D&D, or I haven't really played D&D very much. Because the more you play, the more you start to see what the GM is cooking. You kind of know what they're doing, and you can tell, especially if you've GM'd before. Daggerheart is kind of just like, hey, no bullshit. We all know this is made up, right? Okay, we can all kind of add into this a little bit. The GM did not go through the world's lore and find the one exact thing that is supposed to be in this very chest. Or maybe they did. But the cool part about Daggerheart is everybody can kind of come up with that together. So it is cool and it is meaningful. What I love about Daggerheart is how cinematic it can be. And you get that in D&D, but only at very rare moments.
Yeah. I think that I feel kind of the opposite of this. And when they say that it breaks the sense of immersion, just because when you ask a player that kind of question, it's right in the moment. And to me, it feels more of like, what would you notice about something, or what would you see that would make you question something or make you have interest in this?
Yes.
And like in our game, when you were like, what are the trees doing? That's weird. I was like, what would make me be like, that's kind of weird.
You're not making up the game to change the game for yourself. You're helping craft the narrative to tell the story that you already want to tell with your character.
Yeah.
And no matter who you are and no matter what RPG game you're playing, if you sit down at the table and you've created a character, you have already crafted a little bit of a story. And that's for anybody who thinks that like, no, I just make my character and play the game. It's like you have a concept, you have an idea of what your character does. You have a story in mind. So I know in your mind, most players are picturing the cool things they want their character to do. And Daggerheart lets you do that.
Yeah.
D&D kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
D&D by default is like, no, if you're lucky, you'll get to do something cool.
Yeah.
In Daggerheart, you will. And you will get to show everybody how it happens.
Yeah.
And that's why, though, what do you find in their aspect of Daggerheart isn't about make up the treasure. It's about what would be cool, what would make sense and be cool that your character would find in this moment. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's trying to make your games a little bit more cohesive in my mind. I mean, and I get it. It's not going to be for everybody, and that's totally okay. But there are things from Daggerheart that are so awesome that you can like take and use for your own games that I don't think it's worth just being like, I really hate this because I don't understand it. It's like, well, yeah, you just don't understand it. So why are you hating it?
You also could just not do that.
Yeah.
You could also just be like, all right, me and my players don't really like to do this, so we're not gonna.
There's already 100 people typing comments right now that are like, actually, my group plays exactly like this really hardcore method way, and we really have fun with it. Yeah,
that's great.
Dude, so do I. Like, I love that too. But that doesn't mean that you now get to go, ooh, Daggerheart is actually really bad because it doesn't do that. It's like, no, bro. That's insane. Why do people keep calling Daggerheart a Powered by the Apocalypse game? So I've noticed in a lot of the discourse around Daggerheart that a lot of people are calling it a Powered by the Apocalypse game. Not inspired by or similar to, but Daggerheart is a PBTA game, which is just not true. Holy shit. Wait, I'm on this person's side. I haven't actually played Daggerheart, but I know enough about the mechanics to know that mechanically it actually has very little in common with most PBTA games. Oh my god, we found gold in the Reddit mine. Wow. Somebody being like, hey, maybe we're generalizing this a little too much. Or maybe we shouldn't generalize this thing. When all you know is D&D and Powered by the Apocalypse, I guess you just have to pick one. That's funny. Daggerheart has killed my motivation to keep building my own game.
Ooh.
Jesus. Okay. Oh my god. This is just somebody who made... Okay.
This is just someone who made something similar, and now they're like, well, what's the point of making it now because it's already made?
First, let's get one thing straight. Daggerheart isn't as fresh as you think. Powered by the Apocalypse engine game. God damn it. Okay.
That's so funny.
So this post is somebody who made a system that is somewhat similar to Daggerheart, and now their motivation is entirely killed about writing their own system. Look, I don't want to say that, like, because you're right. Yeah, I think a lot of people tend to feel that. I have felt this 100 times before. It was like, oh, I was going to do that. But that doesn't mean you can't learn from the experience. And that's what I always do moving forward, is whenever something is similar to the thing I was already going to do, that means I was kind of on the mark. That means I knew what I was doing. Yeah. And that I should find a way to make mine unique from this other thing. It can be disheartening and like kill your motivation. But I don't know. I like to be encouraging. I think you could still totally make a system that maybe is a little bit similar, but it's kind of your own vibe. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Don't feel like just because they did something that's similar to your thing doesn't mean that your idea isn't still unique.
It does suck that you were kind of passionate about something and now it feels like it's a waste. Yeah. That's the worst.
All right. r/D&D Circle Jerk predicts Daggerheart. Why I removed initiative in my games altogether. Spider-Man saying, that's a cute opinion. Did a YouTuber give it to you? Pathfinder fixes this. Daggerheart doesn't tell good stories. You do.
Oh, that got us in the first half, and then it was like, actually, you do.
Are there any reviews for Daggerheart 1.0 where the reviewers actually played the game and they're relatively unbiased, or is it just too early for that? Could someone suggest me reviews of Daggerheart where the reviewers actually played the 1.0 version of the game and not just read a book or the SRD and was relatively unbiased? Yeah, that is true. A lot of people are just doing that. It's just clickbait videos. That's what I did. I just big clickbaited everybody and went, I know everything about Daggerheart. That's what I said. I said those words exactly. It definitely wasn't my first impressions of Daggerheart and what I think about them. Review from folks who have actually played. You can find them here. All right, who are they? We got Paladin Pros, Tall Paul, and we got Flamey the GM. And Matthew Mercer's in the thumbnail, so you lose 1,000 points.
Okay. So there's this little channel called Arcane Arcade where we live stream the game, and that was the first time playing it for a lot of us, and for Jacob too. And there, I would say the first half of it is a lot of Jacob getting kind of frustrated. Not actually frustrated, but he was kind of confused, and was like, I feel like I'm playing this wrong.
Mhm.
This feels not right. I don't understand these rules, basically.
Mhm.
And we kind of go through that. And then we go on a break. We kind of talked about it. And we were like, hey, we just got to let go a little bit. And then we came back and we played the game.
I saw The Matrix, dude. I figured out what the game wanted from me. And it was genuinely like I was freaking Po in Kung Fu Panda. And I was like, oh, I'm like water. You just have to be free. Because the whole point of the game, I know people are tired of hearing it probably. Follow the fiction is the idea. It's the narrative comes first. What you want to do, then the rules let you figure out how it works. And even then, the rules are there to help you and guide you through those moments so that you can make something really cool and cinematic and fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not for everybody. That's totally fine. But it's a lot of fun, and you should try it because it's a good time, and I really like it.
I feel like the first time you play D&D, it's a little bit frustrating, and it's a little bit like, I don't understand this. I don't. There are still times where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how spells work still. I still don't know how to use a spell. But I think that's what a lot of people are getting tripped up on is like, I know how to play these role-playing games. I know how to do this, and now there's a new one and I have to learn it and I have to unlearn some things, and that's too much, and I don't want to do that.
And that's the frustrating part is that it would be like if D&D was new or something, it was a new system, and people didn't understand spells, and a lot of people were just like, so I think I'm going to remove spells from the game because I just don't, do they not make a lot of sense to anybody else? Like, I just don't get this. And it's like, they're actually like a core fundamental part of the game, and they're really, really fun. And if you understand them, then they're really cool, and they can make for awesome games. Yeah. And it's frustrating to see people not give it a chance. And that's where I really want to like top this video off is that I'm not frustrated at people criticizing Daggerheart. Criticize it. Like, that's how it gets better. I think right now, though, we're in a weird spot where everybody's expecting instant answers about the system, and the system's complicated. And there's a lot of nuance to it, and you kind of need to play it to get it. And I think there's a lot of bad faith criticism coming out of mainly Reddit of people who get an idea of what they think it is and go, I don't like that. And it's like, you actually don't understand it, which is crazy. So anyways, that's what I wanted to do today was say, can you just chill out, dude? Can you chill out, calm down a little bit, and have fun? Yeah. Go play the game and have fun and stop yelling on Reddit and YouTube.com.
If you really don't like it, if you try it, you play it, you read it, you do all this, whatever. You really don't like it, there's a million other games you can play.
Oh my God, there
are so many.
It's insane.
If I didn't like, actually, that's why I really love Call of Cthulhu is because there's no spells in it. I don't have to worry about that.
Emma's favorite systems have no magic.
I just like playing a regular guy. I just like playing a guy.
Everybody wants to homebrew 5th edition to be what they want it to be. Daggerheart wants you to do that. Yeah. It's like, please change me to be what you want me to be. Do you want to be tactical game on a map? You can do that. Do you want to have a complicated magic system? It is the system of Daggerheart. Its magic system isn't very complicated, but you could very easily make it complicated. Like, oh my God, easier than D&D. That should be it. Easier than D&D. I take back Made by Theater Kids. It's now Pathfinder fixes this.